Hi everyone, my name is Nikki and welcome to my channel. So in today's video, we are doing another bullet journal spread, and this is for the month of February. I'm very excited to bring this video to you guys because, as we all know, February is a very special month. It has Valentine's Day, the day of wholesomeness, the day of loves, celebrating relationships. So in my last bullet journal spread for January, I posted a poll in the cards of the video, like I do with every single one of my bullet journal spreads, and gave you guys an option of different things that you can choose to see in the next month's bullet journal spread. And you guys pulled through and voted for an unconventional Valentine's Day theme, which coincidentally is the same vote and the same idea that won for last year's February spread. I was incredibly excited to create this for you, to pull together all of the ideas, and my thought for this was to play on the idea of relationships, but toxicity. So you're going to see a lot of unusual things, something a little bit dark mixed in with ideas of life, love, all of that stuff. It's quite a juxtaposition, and I really enjoyed how this turned out and the whole creative process, and I hope you guys enjoy too. As always, I will be posting a poll on this video so you guys can vote for which idea you would like to see in next month's bullet journal spread. So please feel free to vote, and also leave any ideas, any comments down below in the comments section, because I always read them and I love to hear what you guys have to say. For the introduction page, I noticed that this was quite similar to last year's bullet journal spread, and if you guys would like to see what that looked like, I will be linking it on the video in the cards so you guys can see that after you've watched this too. But I decided to draw a rib cage on the front page, but instead of doing a heart like I did last year inside, I decided to draw a snake intertwined between the ribs and all throughout this little skeleton, and I thought that it looked quite unusual, and this is really playing with the idea of the toxicity in relationship, a snake or something poisonous, that venom, and it's intertwined within the human part of ourselves. It's almost as if it's a comment trying to say that that toxicity and the unpleasantness is almost intertwined within ourselves as a human. Underneath in a curve, I stamped the word February, so this is just my introduction page welcoming in the month. And to add a little bit of extra depth, I used my Unipen fine liner in the lightest grey to add some shading on the snake to make it stand forward a bit more, because I felt when it wasn't shaded in that the snake really got lost within the drawing, and also I wanted it to look a lot more 3D. After all, I have to say, I haven't been doing a lot of bullet journaling recently and a lot of drawing, so it's a bit difficult to get back into it, but slowly and steadily I'm picking up my pace, getting back into it, making sure I keep up with my drawing and really get back into the habit and the right pace. I'm really interested in what kind of themes you guys are doing for this month. There's so many brilliant ideas that I always see pinned on Pinterest and across YouTube, so I want to know what ideas you guys have for February. Now we move on to the next double page spread, and here on the left hand side I have a calendar. Underneath, I have a section for goals, and on the other page, I have a to-do list. So this is a very simplistic design that I have pretty much kept consistent throughout my whole entire bullet journal. And at the top, I stamped the word February. I have Monday all the way through to Sunday in the calendar, and underneath, I have goals. Then on the opposite page, I have my tasks or my to-do list. Basically, I love to set myself goals because it is great to be able to have something to work towards and to achieve every month. I love to have a direction or something to work towards, something that I can plan around, or something that I'd like to achieve. It helps me feel productive, and I feel the best about myself when I am being productive and I am doing things. So I think that goal, it could be doing your Duolingo every day and keeping a month-long streak, or maybe going out with friends, drinking more water, or doing something you needed to do. And the tasks is just a little mind blurt page where I can dump all of the things that are going on in my head. So for example, if I've got something I need to do, something I need to plan, I can just have that all there and then go through it like a big to-do list. In the center of the page, I drew some ivy, and I really loved this design. I felt that this played with the idea of poison from the venom of the snake and poison ivy. It's that little touch of the natural that growth within. Then of course we move on to my trackers, and I always like to have fun with my trackers, but recently I have been trying to ground myself and keep them a lot more simplistic, because sometimes I get a little too far-fetched, a little too ahead of myself with the design, and I want to make them accessible for myself and for anyone who perhaps wants to plan with me. So for the mood tracker, I drew these snakes, and the idea was to make them look like guts, like intestines, but also that play on the venom, that toxicity, and the poison. So I have 3 different snakes. One of them is designed like a skeleton. The other one is supposed to be like the guts and the intestines, and then the other one is like a normal snake. And you can see that normal snake is striped. And the idea is for every one of those striped blocks, I will color it in a different color, either a light gray, medium grey, or a dark grey, depending on how I'm feeling. And I like to keep it to those 3 colours, because having more than 3 can often be a bit too overwhelming. You might not know how to define yourself, and I find that sort of limiting it to those 3 really helps me be able to focus and be more clear-minded when I'm actually thinking about how I feel. Then on the opposite page, I have my water tracker. I am terrible at staying hydrated, so I have 8 blocks, which is a block for each cup of water I have to drink per day. And I also stamped, "Thinking of you is a poison I drink often," which is a quote that I found quite touching. It is about love, and also fits in with that theme of poison, toxicity. Sometimes loving someone, even though you may love them and they may mean so much to you, you just have to let them go, because relationships can be so incredibly toxic and horrible, and you need to distance yourself. It reminds me of when somebody's always thinking about that one ex that they shouldn't be thinking about. Anyway, now we move on to some more trackers and planning spaces, because even though I do love to make my bullet journal spreads really fun, really artistic and decorative, the main point of a bullet journal is to be productive and to have something there to help you in your everyday life. So on the left hand side I have my savings, and on the right hand side I have my YouTube planner. So for my savings, I have the day that I'm spending, the description, what it is, and then plus or minus. So that's whether I earn money or I lose money, and the total. Then I have a little savings plan. So if I need to buy anything, I can note that down there. Or for example, if I'm going to add some money into my savings account, for example, I can note that down. Then on the opposite page, I have my YouTube planner. So I have the plan for what I'm going to upload, things I'll need, so resources, if I need some paints, if I need some more pens, etc., or if I need to do a little haul. And then at the bottom of that page, I have my tracker. So it tracks how many views I have at the beginning and the end of the month, and the same for subscribers, so I can know how much I'm growing. Then, to keep with that continuous theme, I also added the IV down the center of this page. I held my pen quite loosely, so it was a bit of a messy design, and I really like how sketch-like this looks, and just the whole relaxed feel to it, but also it being a little bit edgy, a little bit janky. It's very cool, and I think it plays in with that sharpness mixed in with the natural. And I used this really light uni pen fine liner to shade the leaves. In order to try and explain what I did, I basically did some vertical lines trying to darken the shape of the leaf, and then on one side I changed the direction of the vertical lines and drew them as well. So it made one side look darker than the other, and I felt that that added some depth, made things look a bit more 3D, and I also added some lines in the background to look like additional vines, but also create that shading, make the leaves stand forward a bit more. All of my bullet journals are pretty much completely monochromatic, so I really do like to add that extra 3D effect so it doesn't look as dull and plain. Now we move on to some more necessary trackers, and this is for homework and for revision. Homework is incredibly necessary, and I love to keep it in this little tracker you can see me drawing here. Basically what I do, I write down what the homework is, the due date, and a tick for when I've done it, and for revision, the topic, and also a little tracker for when I have tests. And in the middle of the page I wrote, "I fell for you and I am still falling." Now to finish off the bullet journal, I have my happy space on the left hand side, and this is basically a place where I can doodle, I can write down things that I'm grateful for, I can write down how I'm feeling, and it is very good to practice mindfulness and to be able to focus on what you really appreciate and the good things in life, because sometimes we all get too kept up on the negatives. And I think in February, with Valentine's Day coming up, even though it is based around romantic love between couples, I think if you you perhaps maybe aren't celebrating this with someone, or even if you are, it's very important that you think about self-love as well. And that's what I'm going to be doing this February, just trying to appreciate myself, be happy, improve myself, feel happy how I am, give love to my friends, to my family, and love myself. And then on the other side of the page, I have this lollipop design, and the lollipop is a skeleton skull. It's supposed to look like some really enticing candy, but actually it's slightly morbid and a little bit scary. I really like this idea of playing with that poisonness and just this lollipop. Even though it looks so tasty, it is actually something very morbid, something very dark, and that could often be a metaphor for perhaps somebody that looks like a snack but actually is a really toxic person. You shouldn't have them in your life. I don't know, anybody can relate to this and make a story out of my bullet journal spreads. I like to try and tell some sort of tale throughout them, and it's all open up to your interpretations too. I added a little bit of white pen to look like the reflections on the plastic, and that is it for the bullet journal. So to begin for the flip through, we have the introduction page to welcome the month of February. Then after that, we have my calendar page with my goals section and my task list. After that, we have my trackers for my mood and for how much water I'm drinking. Then we have my savings tracker and my YouTube tracker, so I can track how much I'm spending, how much I'm saving, plan out my YouTube videos. Following that, we then have my homework and my revision tracker, so I can keep on top of all of my college work. Then we have my happy space and a little drawing to finish up the bullet journal for the month of February. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed. I use my Lemon Dotted Journal uni pen fine liners in black, dark grey, light grey, white pen, and some letter stamps. I hope you all enjoyed this video and my bullet journal spread this month. It was a pleasure to create it, and if you did like it, please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to see more and press the bell to receive notifications when I post a new video. I will see you guys next Saturday. Bye!